Should we do the pan flute solo?
I like
Oh, Celine Dion.
Celine Dion.
I know. This is gonna be good.
What's that movie? Is it a hit? Don't ask her like she'll say, I haven't seen it.
Welcome to the Haven't Seen It podcast. This is the podcast where we get people on the show and we get them really drunk and they tell them about a movie that I never seen before. I'm Alenka Zach.
And I'm Will.
And today on the show, we have two very
You're getting really
special
good at
guests.
that, actually.
Hmm?
You're getting really good at that.
What?
Like that intro.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Shut up. Right. That was like the first time I think I've ever messed it up.
What do you mean? No one knows that you messed it up.
Shut
at
up,
home.
Will. That's gonna be in the I'm trying to introduce people here.
Okay, go ahead. Introduce them.
Okay. That being said, you introduce them.
On the show today, we have the wonderful, beautiful stars of Good Night, Sleep Tight, short film produced by Evelyn 11 Films. We have star, writer, and producer Karen Scobie.
Hello.
And star, executive producer Stephen Vlahos.
Hey, hi, that's me.
Guys, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks
for
for having
having
us.
Oh, wow. You feel spicy today?
Yeah, man, I got a cream for that.
I'm so glad we have you here. This is going to be nice.
I shouldn't be sitting on the couch if I'm being perfectly honest.
I'm so confused and terrified.
You got hemorrhoids, Stephen.
No, maybe.
He got here and used the washroom for quite a while.
Yeah, I was in there for a bit.
When you were texting me, I think.
Oh, yeah, I did tell you that I was pooping in there.
You did.
So you have details on the BM.
I do.
Nice. We'll talk about that. We'll get into
Yeah,
that
yeah.
later. We'll discuss that.
I just wanted to say this movie's big. This movie is huge. I dare say this movie is about a boat.
It is, yeah. It's about the boat. Yeah, we're talking about the Titanic.
It's just Titanic.
Honestly, news to me as of today. It actually is just Titanic.
Yes.
But why? It is presented as the Titanic.
I thought it was the Titanic.
No.
In conversation, you would say,
thought it
I
was-
haven't seen the Titanic.
The Titanic,
No.
yeah.
Exactly.
I haven't seen Titanic?
No, it doesn't need.
Well, if you haven't
it
seen
doesn't
the
need a
Titanic.
the or the. It's just.
If you haven't seen the Titanic, you haven't seen the boat, I guess, which I guess nobody has because it's at the bottom of the Atlantic.
Well, maybe. Who knows if it
she,
even happened?
she doesn't know that
Who
yet.
knows if it even happened?
They don't
You
call
know?
it the Jaws. It's just Jaws.
Yeah.
It's
Is that
just,
a
it's
valid-
Also, it's
is
also
that- is
just
that the same?
Psycho, right? Throwback.
Yeah.
I do disagree because Titanic was, if I'm not wrong, a historical thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jaws was not.
That was
Wait,
fictional.
that didn't
it was
happen?
the
Jaws
name of
didn't happen.
Jaws was like, let's say a shark outbreak happened and the newspaper was going to cover it and their headline was just Jaws. Does this make sense?
I don't know what you're saying, if I'm being perfectly honest.
I still haven't seen the Jaws.
I've not seen the Jaws.
You know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
'Cause Jaws is about a shark outbreak.
That's right, folks. We're talking Titanic today. Great movie. Guys, when was the first time you watched Titanic, Karen?
It would have been the first year that it came out. So
What?
Late 90s.
Ooh.
I want to say, what was it released in like 99?
Released 97.
Cool. I was young, but
Did your family own the double cassette?
sure
VHS?
did. I still have that. And the last time we watched it in Toronto was on my VCR. One tape, next tape. Yeah.
Okay.
Classic.
So
Mhm.
that is precisely why I didn't watch it. Because we had that VHS and I took one look at it and I was like, I have to watch two of these? Not happening.
Alenka has commitment issues.
I mean, it is like 3 hours.
It's a long movie.
That's
Yeah.
which I mean nowadays I guess is like no big deal. 3-hour movie.
That's
Right?
about as long as this episode's going to be. So
Yeah. Because we're going into it
Well, you
into
have
detail.
to. That's
Right.
the point.
Because I watched it until 5 o'clock in the morning yesterday.
yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of, when was the first time you've watched this movie, Stephen?
So So the first time I actually ever saw any of Titanic was I was just over at my grandmother's and it was playing on the TV and I saw like 30 seconds of Titanic without realizing it was Titanic. It was just Leonardo DiCaprio playing poker and I went, who's this snazzy guy?
Oh, like
and
right at the top of the film.
right there. And then I was like, what's going on? This doesn't appeal to me. I'm 11. So then I
wait, at 11 you were just like, who's this snazzy guy?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And then I guess 2 years ago, it was pretty close. Me and Karen had just started. Okay, so for our viewers out there, Karen and I are also together. We're an item.
What?
So if anyone's looking to hit me up afterwards, just be discreet about it. Yeah, so Karen was like, I want to watch Titanic. And I went, fucking kill me. Oh, can I swear on this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if it was family.
Sorry, no, we're actually broadcasting on NPR.
Oh, okay. That's okay. So I said, freaking kill me.
Well, it was because I had asked if you had ever seen it.
I was like, no.
And that was...
She didn't ask if I wanted to see it. This is the thing. She just went, we're watching it.
Yeah, because you had to.
Do I? Did I? Alenka has not, and look where it's gotten her.
Now I have a podcast.
Now she's a podcast star.
It's a part of history that happened over 100 years ago now.
Anyways, point is, I saw it like 2 years ago for the first time. So what's really funny is that like it was a big spectacle like kind of movie when it first came out because it's, you know, James Cameron directed and like all the effects and everything that went into it, crazy for like the time.
And it won like
and it
won like a bunch of awards.
Yeah, you know, whatever. So, but then like, watching it in like 2018, maybe 2018, it was like I was just laughing for most of it, which is bad because there's a lot of death in this movie. It's a good movie. I did like the movie. There's some very, there's some a tear was shed, perhaps a tear or two.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready
because of the love, story. But also because of so much death.
No, there's that. That was the first time I saw it in its entirety, and then last night at like 1:30 in the morning because we knew we were doing this today, and I do not know the movie that well, so I have to watch it again. Now it's so fresh in my brain.
Thank you.
You're ready to talk.
I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah,
I got some qualms.
Okay.
On top of talking about it, we're also drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone,
baby.
My drink of the episode today, I call it Room for Two. I fashioned a serving platter that's made out of pieces of wood that look like the infamous door at the end of the movie, which we will get to. Alenka.
Okay.
And on that are two drinks that both of our guests seem to be sharing. One is a Jack and Coke.
Whoa.
The other is a nice tall glass of ROSÉ.
Ooh.
And inside of them is also an extra shot and a half of Iceberg Vodka.
Bravo.
Is it good, guys? Is it good?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't even tried a sip yet.
What
Let me try half of each one.
I've indulged in both. They're good to me.
Ooh, that's nice. The Jack and Coke is pretty nice. You know, considering there's whiskey and vodka in there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really taste it very much, but like, I want to. Let's try the ROSÉ here. I see Karen doesn't want to share. She already took it away from me, literally like foreshadowing the events of the movie. She does not want to share what's on the door.
Okay. I know
Fun fact,
this part
I guess
already.
it's not a door.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a door. Apparently, it's actually just a paneling above a door. They did much research onto this very disputed meme.
It's just because it's like about the size of a door.
Did you know this
I
already,
guess.
Karen? Did you know
Yes.
that it's not a door?
Yes.
I did not. And I remember seeing the movie and being like, where's the handle? And I never got any closure on that. So this is nice to know.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of what we know, there's honestly, maybe this movie is what I would know probably the most of. And not because of the movie, not because of people's discussion of the movie, maybe a little bit of the history of the actual event, and mostly because of the memes. So I know the characters' names. I know that the ship hits an iceberg. I know that icebergs are larger underneath the water.
Good. That's just fun about icebergs. You actually learned that from the movie.
No, but that is just an extra fact. And so, okay, now I guess I know that it's the size of a door, but I know they're floating on it. And I was trying to remember who died this morning off of the door. I did think it was Rose at first. Then I remembered that would be obscene because the memes talk about how much of a bitch she is.
For not sharing the door?
Yeah. Which makes sense because if it was actually the size of the door, there's enough space. But then I was thinking like, okay, a big crash is probably pretty traumatic on the body, cold water. Maybe he just didn't have the strength.
No, it's because he has a heart of gold. He's courageous. He's selfless.
I don't understand how that's related.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Okay. But they try. Can I talk? Am I allowed to talk about the events? Or
Oh, hold on.
Linear fashion.
She gets painted, right?
She gets painted.
Does she not?
Not
Body paint.
paint-
She
not
gets covered in
painted.
body paint.
No, she gets painted.
And she gets
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
drawn. She gets drawn.
cans of paint thrown on her.
So she gets drawn.
Yeah.
I know that.
Goldfinger
Yeah.
style.
Goldfinger
She paints
style,
her
yeah.
Body. Yeah.
That's what
Is
happens.
that a movie?
On another
Oh my
episode.
God! What do you? Oh my goodness! It's
I
incredible.
played the video game.
It's incredible.
That's Golden Eye.
Oh, I thought you meant the Titanic video game. I was like, what a morbid.
Oh, Golden Eye. What's Golden Finger? What's Gold?
That's another James Bond movie.
Okay, I don't think I've seen any of the movies.
Okay, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into it.
Yeah, well, how does this movie start?
Okay.
It starts off
Take it away, Karen.
on the water. There's water. It reveals the title, Titanic. And then it takes you to present day, which I guess at the time was 1997. Takes you under the water to where you see the wreckage of the Titanic that has been dead under there for 84 years. We don't know how long it's been at this point. And they're trying to find this secret safe in this really bougie kind of room in the Titanic, which I guess they've been looking for a long time, because they're specifically trying to find this necklace. And this necklace is this like sapphire heart, and it's called the Heart of the Ocean. And it's worth like
It's not a sapphire.
billions.
It's a diamond.
It is a diamond, but it's
But it's
blue.
blue.
Someone's a sapphire.
Obviously.
So they find the safe, and they bring the safe up to the surface, and they find a way to open it. And when they do, there's no necklace in there. Oh no, all of the searching was for nothing. But inside the safe is where you find the portrait of Rose naked, wearing the necklace.
Hold on, already paused.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Ask questions.
How is all of that? Like, what is this? A scuba diving scene?
Yeah. So there's a machine, big high tech in this time. 1997 is a submarine type machine, but it's not a submarine because it's like a drone. It's like a weird. I don't know how to explain it.
They're in a submarine, and then they've got a drone that can go into the ship,
Yeah, so
and they're in a submarine
operating this
near
drone.
it.
Okay.
And they're operating this drone, and so you're seeing the footage from like the drone's perspective, and the guy from Twister is running the whole operation.
Guy from
Bill Paxton.
Bill
the actor.
Paxton.
Rest in peace.
The guy-
R.I.P.
Oh, he's dead.
I thought Bill Pullman died.
No.
It's Bill Paxton who died.
Paxton.
Bill Pullman is still alive.
Who's
Yes.
Bill Pullman?
He is the president of Independence Day
Oh.
for another episode.
He's also the father in Casper.
Oh, I've seen Casper.
Pullman. Paxton is Titanic guy, and what
Twister.
else is Twister? Yeah, and that's it, right?
He made 2 movies.
Well, I
R.I.P.
didn't look at his
Movies in
IMDb
Croat. May he
recently.
rest in peace. So the
Okay.
guy from Twister's running the whole operation, and he's sending the submarine underneath, and they're looking for this diamond, sapphire, whatever it is. And yeah, it doesn't come up, but they find the safe, and it's got a picture of a sexy naked lady in there.
And this is a drawing
This
Yes.
is a drawing.
that in 80 some odd years hasn't diminished.
Underwater.
Somehow
It's been perfectly
it,
preserved.
un-
it was
Underwater.
preserved
I'm upset.
in
They are
this
reaching.
folder type thing that just like kept it so protected
To do it
in this
okay.
safe. But everything else that he pulls out of there is just gunky, like money, whatever. Is gross.
Yeah.
But somehow that got like untouched.
The power of love.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Probably.
they reveal this portrait on the television, on the news, that they're like, look what we found. And I guess 101 old lady
Oh, I never
Rose.
clocked that, eh?
Is she's like making pottery? No, what's she doing?
Yeah, she's doing pottery.
She's
Yeah,
doing pottery. Ghost style.
she like overhears the
I don't
TV
remember
say
that.
something about Titanic, and she's like, "What is that?"
Turn that up,
And then she
Derry.
tells her granddaughter to turn up the TV, and then she sees this portrait, and she's like, "The woman in the portrait is me." And she somehow gets through to the
that
Bill
kills it.
Paxton
It's
like
guy.
satellite
explained.
phone. She's
Yeah,
like,
it's never explained.
you're gonna want to take this.
You want to take
Yeah,
this
yeah.
call. And she basically no one knows that this necklace is called the Heart of the Ocean unless you were there during the time of Titanic in 1912. And so when she calls him, she says, "I wonder if you've found the Heart of the Ocean, Mr. Lovett." And he's like, "What? How could you possibly know?" And then that sets off the whole, I guess,
they fly
set
her
sail.
out.
They
for-
fly her out.
Yeah.
They fly her out in a helicopter because she said that one sentence on the phone.
Well, because she says that's me in the portrait, and therefore
And they were like,
and
I
therefore
believe
he's
you
like,
immediately.
well, because the portrait is dated April 14th, 1912, which is the day that the Titanic sank in history. So he's led to believe that she was the last person wearing this necklace. So maybe she'll have an idea of where the necklace is.
And her name is Rose, and they know about a Rose.
Yes.
on
Did they
the
already
ship.
know about
What?
a rose?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Yes.
How do they
but
know?
she changed her last
She
name.
changed her last name.
Who is she? Why is she that important?
She's
that
of
they
the upper crust.
Yeah.
She's one
like-
of the only
she's-
living people remaining from Titanic.
Is this
Yeah.
a fact?
No.
Oh,
Okay,
Not
fun
a real
fact,
life
when I
fact.
watched
That's
it,
what I
I thought this whole movie was like real. Like I thought Rose
There
is a
are-
real
well,
person.
No,
She's
there
not?
are characters in the film that
That
are real.
Yeah.
So that can be
Rose is not
confusing.
real.
No.
Rose is not real, no.
Yeah.
Kate Winslet is real.
How could they fabricate that?
Well, because there are some real people that survived the Titanic that told their own stories, and I guess they sort of put different stories together to make it into a very Academy Award winning film.
You gotta.
She's gonna defend
stretch
this
a little
movie
bit.
all night. And I'm probably gonna tear it apart.
Karen has a deep love for this movie.
Love
I
this
think
movie.
it's hilarious.
Mhm.
Okay, so they fly Rose in on a helicopter, no less. So they drop her off, and they like.
She's
it's
in a
like-
wheelchair.
Yeah, they age her even more.
Oh,
when they
no.
So she's doing pottery, and she's like, she gets.
In the
does she stand
wheelchair?
up in the beginning?
Yeah,
No.
she walks.
Oh,
She
does
walks
she?
a little bit.
She
does,
gets up
Very,
and
like,
walks and like makes a phone call, and then they bring her in a wheelchair, and then they drop her. Like, don't drop
well,
her.
she
they put her down.
she rode in the elevator.
She rode in the elevator, and it
She
took her all the way
rode
to
in
the
the
ship.
helicopter in an elevator.
This isn't even the good stuff yet. So they
I
drop
can't
off.
talk.
They drop off 900-year-old Rose,
900.
and she's
In her
now
wheelchair.
on the ship.
With all of her possessions.
And yeah,
What?
she brought every. Well,
She
just
basically
brought a lot of
moved
things.
on-
She's
the
a
ship.
minimalist.
She was not a minimalist.
She
Oh.
says, I have to have my pictures when I travel.
Yeah, she sets up. They have like a little room for her, and she sets up a bunch of pictures and stuff. And she brings her granddaughter with her,
And her
who-
dog and her fish.
Oh, that's right. Oh, this is the best part.
Wow.
Yeah, so when the helicopter lands, they pull old Rose out of a wheelchair, and she's got a blanket on, and she's holding a tiny dog as they lower her out of the wheelchair. And I'm like, this dog just went on an insane fucking helicopter ride.
She doesn't know
And
how
is
long she's going to be
traumatized.
there.
That dog probably like shit all over her.
I was gonna say, this is like a real dog on the set, and they're actually because I was like, there's no way around that. I was like, they're actually landing a helicopter, and they're pulling this dog out of a helicopter. Anyway, so enough about the dog. He literally doesn't make another appearance. For the rest of the movie.
It's true.
not important.
So they bring her down, and then oh my god, what happened? Karen,
She
go on.
asks, okay, so she sets up her room on the ship, and then
Wait. So wait, she's back on a ship?
Yeah, so
She's-
their whole operation is being conducted on like a ship, right? Because they're on the ocean.
Oh,
and
so they're like, we're gonna go take this old lady on the scavenger with us.
yeah, this old lady that had a clearly, maybe if it's her, had an awful traumatic experience on a ship. Let's put her back on the water.
Yeah.
So put her on a helicopter and then
She's
put her
like,
in
I
sea.
feel right at home.
Yeah. Okay.
So she comes onto the ship so that she can like retell what the events of Titanic from her own words.
they absolutely could have done that in her living room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
yes.
he's like, I'm so close to finding the heart of the ocean necklace. Let's bring her here. Because it really is in the middle of the ocean. It's
Yeah.
not near land.
Been like the
anywhere.
cold because it's like the North Atlantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
they've just
not a
sort of
nice-
had this ship parked there forever
The ship
above
is
the
parked.
wreckage above the wreckage of Titanic. They can't steer far from there, otherwise they'll lose everything that they've already found.
So this is great. So there's like a member of the crew. This is still present day. We're gonna flash back to the past in a moment.
Okay.
There's a member of the crew who's like the tech guy who's like missing a tooth, and he's a bigger dude. He's got a beard and long hair, and he's the only one that seems to be skeptical of Rose. And he's like, "Oh, she could be saying she's anybody. She's old. She could be making this whole thing up." Blah 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 blah.
I think he's like, she's an old bag. I don't know. I think that's what
Something
he
like
says.
that.
Well,
Why
she
not?
is.
Well, she's an old. Yeah, she has nothing but
That's dog.
she's a
It's like
dog.
at that age,
And big
what
pictures,
could
and her
you
granddaughter-
possibly
And her
want?
granddaughter, the fact that they give her a granddaughter, I don't know why she's there. She has no arc, like nothing. Like she's just there to
be
help
her
grandmother
caregiver.
get off the helicopter.
Yeah, basically.
Oh
Plainly,
my.
there's lots. Anyways, so beyond that, so the tech guy is like, okay, so to refresh your memory, and they've created like a simulation. Like a 1997 high-tech simulation of the Titanic, and they put it on a computer screen. They're like, okay, so here's what happened. The Titanic hits the iceberg. It puts holes in the side of the boat, and you see like a cartoon
Sure.
of the Titanic hitting an iceberg, and then like, puncturing the boat and then filling the boat with water. He's like, okay, so this happens, and then the boat splits in half, and this part is starting to sink, and then this other part tips right up, and then that part and he's showing her a simulation of all this stuff. I don't actually know why. To refresh her memory,
Yeah, I know it is.
maybe. And he's like,
It's
"Do
a
you remember?"
clever exposition device. It's like, we're gonna tell the audience how it happened.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
under the guise of, I'm gonna remind you, Rose, of what you went through.
Yeah. So you were there, but do you remember? This is exactly how it happened. And so then old Rose, is getting like very emotional, and she's like, "Oh my, yes, the boat did sink." And then like,
Because the guy at the end of the simulation, he turns, he goes, "Pretty cool, huh?"
yeah. And she's getting very emotional, and her granddaughter, the big acting moment where she's like, "I think we should take my Nana away now."
I think she needs to rest.
Yeah.
And
And then
she's
she says, "No,
no, yeah, she's a bit stubborn, but she's also just like, this isn't how it happened. I will tell you the real events of how it happened.
Well, the sinking is how it happened.
Yes, but the way in which it happened.
Oh yeah, because it's nothing about the people are involved. And so what's great, what is she? Oh my God, what does she say? I'm a little buzzed now. I'm actually starting to forget the movie. So they say, the guy from Twister is like, okay, so try
His name's
to remember.
Mr. Lovett.
His name is Bill Paxton.
Okay.
So he's like, okay, so try to remember. He's like, oh, it was 84 years ago. And then he goes, okay, but like, try to remember, like, really try. And she goes, well, do you want to hear the story or not? And he
Mr.
goes,
Lovett.
Yeah. Mr.
Yeah.
Lovett, Bill Paxton. There's a tornado.
Twister.
And he's like, yeah, I do. And she's like, it was 84 years ago, and I can still smell the fresh paint.
Yep.
So
And then
this is a line that's stuck in my head because it has nothing to do with
and then
fucking
it
anything.
zooms in on the footage of the Titanic underwater in present day
It's playing on a screen
on a
behind her.
screen, and then it zooms
I
in.
remember this movie.
It zooms in, and then it suddenly goes back in time to it being 1912 all over again, and you can see
Yeah.
the Titanic in its full beauty.
Here we go. Now it's time for the real movie. Enough of old Rose and
That
dementia bullshit.
Fucking crypt keeper.
She makes a few more appearances.
Yeah.
But
She
like,
narrates some of it.
pretty
No,
few and far between.
when I watched this recently, I just like realized, like, I don't know, the CGI holds up. to me.
Mhm.
Like, you watch
Oh,
it and
yeah.
you're not like, "Pff, that looks like it's from 97, you're like, oh, look, it could be now.
No,
Yeah.
because they're not too ambitious with their, like, the most ambitious they were with their CGI, if you ask me, was the dolphins. Like, you see,
Yeah.
and they're like, the dolphins look like they're like, so there's one scene where Leo's on the boat, like, they're on the boat and he looks over the edge
With
and
Fabrizio.
oh my God, that racist Italian fucking, anyway.
I like
Fabrizio's not
Fabrizio.
racist. I'll get into I have issues with Fabrizio being an Italian man, but you know, the actor who plays him is also Italian. Anyway, so Leo looks over the boat. He's like, look over there, Fabrizio, look. And there's like these awful CGI dolphins, and there's like 8 CGI dolphins like in front of the boat. And
Trying to keep up
they're
with
not
the
next
speed
to
at
the
which
boat.
the ship is
They're like, they look like they are escaping the boat. Like the boat is a predator, and it looks like it's gonna hit the. Anyways, that was the most ambitious they got with the CGI. It was fucking hilarious. I don't know what happened to dolphins. I don't think they made it.
They just swam away from
Anyway,
the boat.
Karen,
They
I
knew
actually
what was gonna
forget
happen.
what actually happens like next in the movie. So you take it.
You're introduced to Rose in her large hat.
Nice.
Because she is she used to be from money, but she's marrying Rich, this fellow Cal Hockley,
Played by Billy Zane.
Bill Zane. Yeah.
That's
What?
Billy Zane.
That is
Yes.
Billy Zane
With hair.
Oh my God,
with hair.
fuck me up.
Mr. Mummy himself.
You know
Yeah.
what? I actually didn't know that was Billy Zane.
He's in the Mummy, right? Yeah, he's the.
I think so.
Come to think of it,
He's Emotep
I
in the
can't
Mummy.
even. I know the name Billy Zane, but I actually can't put a face to Billy Zane.
Billy
I'm
Zaney
getting
Zane.
So we're introduced to Rose Duet Buketter, something like that.
Do it.
Played by
Do
Kate
it.
La
Winslet.
Flamme.
And they're coming out of their carriage with all of their luggage. You're also introduced to Rose's mother,
This is
as
the
well
longest
as
episode you'll have.
Cal's like
His like I don't know his
bodyguard?
right hand.
man. It's his man.
It's
That's
his
what he
man.
calls him.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
like, it's like not a servant, but his like assistant, sort of. So he's got this dude that just follows him.
He's
around
like a
and takes
bodyguard,
care
though.
Of like stuff.
he's like an
Okay.
ex-cop.
Yeah.
But yeah. He's not like Pete. What can I do?
They
for
call
you,
him
sir?
Lovejoy, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. his
Anyways,
name. I don't remember his
The
name.
name.
We see her, and she's like, okay, I guess this is how I'm returning to America. What a nice grand ship. Isn't really like
This is the thing I actually didn't know about Titanic, is that the Titanic was going to America from
Yeah,
England.
where's okay?
It's they're in England and they're going to America. So I thought the Titanic was a cruise ship for years.
It's
I thought they were just going around the
Well,
ocean and the
it's
ship went
it
bad.
is it's like it's a liner, but it's not
Mhm.
like cruise. I don't. There was no cruise ships.
travel with
It was
I
always
guess,
like
eh?
it was
Yeah.
always like an air. It was like an airplane. Like
we were
travel.
at the point in
but-
our history, I guess, where we were just like, I want to see some shit. No, take me to America, says Fabrizio. Yeah, I'm going to America. Anyway, fuck.
so a lot of these people are heading back home to America. Therefore, they are bringing all of their possessions, and this family seems to have a lot of them because they are wealthy, including a lot of paintings.
Yeah, they're like hanging up like Van Goghs
Yeah.
and
So
Picassos.
who are not
we
like
see them.
big yet. That's the thing.
That's true.
because they make
Picasso,
comments.
Monet,
Picasso,
yep.
like his Van
Cal,
Gogh.
who's like
Degas.
a real piece of shit, is Kate Winslet's hanging up a bunch of paintings. She's like, this is the Monet, is going to go over here, and the Picasso will go here. He's like, Picasso, nothing will ever come of him, I don't think.
I don't
No
think.
talent.
yeah. Anyway, go on,
Yeah.
please.
So we see them board the ship, and then it cuts to this is our introduction of Jack Dawson, played by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and then basically after like this kind of like chunk, we'll I guess we'll try to fast forward through some of the
Yes.
nonsense because like,
And
oh,
he's-
God.
So he's an American, but he's in England, and he's playing a poker game. And on the table is a little bit of money, but 2 tickets for Titanic to take him back to America. Him and his buddy Fabrizio.
Yeah, but
And-
it's the Swedish guys. The
Are they
Swedish, yeah.
No, I think they're French.
No, they're
they are
Swedish.
not French.
They're
Their names are
Swedish.
Sven.
Sven,
and
yeah.
Oh,
something
right.
They're
else.
totally Swedes. Yeah, they're
They might be,
Swedes.
but they sound they're aggressive. They're like rough Swedes.
Yeah,
like
they're
they
like-
look
True.
Russian.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I thought they were Russian, but maybe they're.
So I
maybe
guess-
Like if they stayed, they'd probably end up joining the Nazis when it came.
Right, because this is pre World War One. So they set up this poker game, I think, so that they can get some money to then take home to America. or take to America.
We don't know.
We don't know
Karen's-
why they
Karen's
decided to do
Karen's
this.
putting all their stuff on.
But
this
we
now.
know that Leo and Fabrizio just want
fucking
to get the
Fabrizio
tickets.
kills me, man.
They just want to go home to America. And so they're playing this poker game and time is ticking. They go around the table. It's time to reveal the cards. Fabrizio's got niente. And then
That's what he says. That's what he says.
Niente.
In a bad Italian
And then we
accent.
go around to the other two fellows.
fellows.
One's got nothing. The other one's got a 2 pair. And Leo does this
Wow,
like
she remembers
sneaky,
this
he does this
specifically.
sneaky sort of thing. And he's like, Fabrizio, I'm so sorry. You're not going to see your family for a long time. So he's making the other guy believe that he's won the game, but he is not. And he's like, because we're going to America. He's got a full house. He's got a full house.
Full house.
So he goes and he grabs the tickets. They're cheering.
Yeah, they're all
And-
happy. Yeah, and then the bartender is like, somebody asked why they're cheering or something like that, and then he's
like,
Leo
"We're going-
says,
yeah,
"We're
Fabrizio's like, I'm going to
We're going to
America.
America.
oh my god,
And then the bartender's just like, no, Titanic
going
to America.
Yeah.
in 5 minutes.
So then they run for like a 7-minute montage of trying to get on the boat where Leonardo DiCaprio
Like the fast fiddle music.
bumps into every possible thing. And he bumps into a horse
Yes.
at one time. I shit you not. Leo bumps into a horse and goes, oh my god. And Fabrizio goes, hey, vaffanculo. He's like a bullshit, stereotypical Italian. Anyway, so they get on the boat. And then they're on the boat. And there's a thing. What are they checking for lice? Everybody's
They're checking the poor people for lice.
checking the poor people for
Oh,
lice, so
that's
lice
rude.
doesn't get on the boat. Anyways, that's also not
It was the
anything.
12s.
the 1912s.
So they get on the boat, and then the boat is leaving, and they're all waving goodbye. Everyone's waving off the bow of the ship to the people waiting below. And also Leo and Fabrizio almost didn't make it on the boat, but then
Yeah.
they did. So,
Obviously.
They didn't
Yeah.
do the
Yeah.
check, but the guy was like, did you get checked for lice? And he was like, yeah, we were in the line. And
He's
then
like, we're
So they're
Americans.
peasants?
We don't need our
Yeah.
papers or
They're
whatever.
pretty poor. Like, it's fair to say that like Leonardo DiCaprio is like a homeless man for
So the tickets were just
They were on the
not
table.
his previously. They weren't
No,
things that
that's
he
correct.
bet.
He won them in the poker game.
Mhm.
Yeah, the
Wow.
Swedes
Playing
bet the
the Swedes.
tickets.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, because
What a
the funny
bunch
part is they finally get to the room in the lower decks, and there's 2 other Swedish guys, and then they're like, "Hey, we're Jack, we're Fabrizio, yeah, we're moving you through," and the other guys go, "Where's Sven?"
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And that's all you see of them too. They don't play any part in that either.
But they're presumed roommates for the whole
for the duration
The
of
whole
the,
time.
of the ship
Yeah, yeah,
trip.
yeah. But again, they don't. You never see them go back to their room ever. Anyway,
Okay.
so yeah, they're on the ship. I get. I don't remember what happens on the ship really.
Well, then it's kind of montagey, but
Mhm.
the ship ends up stopping in like Ireland and Scotland, picking up more people. 'cause
Right,
that's
we
how it
get an
works.
introduction to Molly Brown.
Yes, Molly Brown,
The fuck is Molly Brown?
played by Kathy
Kathy
Bates.
Bates.
Oh, Molly Brown.
Kay Bates.
Yeah.
Kay Bates.
Who's she?
Do you know Kathy Bates?
No, I know Kathy Bates, but who's Molly Brown?
She's
She-
yeah,
The
they call-
unsinkable
Molly
Yeah,
Brown.
Molly Brown.
Huh?
She basically came into a lot of money from her husband, but she's traveling solo. Is it because her husband died?
Yeah.
She just inherited
and-
all of
and
his
the-
millions.
The old Rose is like, she was what my mother referred to as new money.
Right.
So she's not as
yeah.
respected as all the other old money
hmm
peeps.
But she's such a lovely human. You get to like learn how nice she is throughout the film.
Sure.
And she's American too.
Yeah, she's like, I come from Texas.
But
She
Rose's
does not.
Rose's mom is
Oh,
not
no.
kind to her. She's like, let's get up before she sits
Okay,
with us.
So fast forward. So
I
Jack,
think it's important to figure out where Rose and Jack meet.
Yeah, that's what we're getting to right now. Okay, so some stuff on the ship. They're just establishing like this is what the ship's like. There's
Yeah.
rich people, there's poor people. The rich people stay up in the nicer places. The
And-
poor people stay in the lower.
Jackson artist.
Oh, and Jackson artist. That's right, because you see him on the deck and he's drawing some of the people who were like around. And then he flips through his like little sketchbook. I can't remember if this is now or later, but you see like that he sketched like a woman breastfeeding, and I was like, that's a little That's weird.
That's
That's a little weird, man. You stuck around long enough to draw a picture. Like that's a long time. She knew you were looking at you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I couldn't do anything about it.
couldn't
She's
do
like,
it.
I'm just
She's
trying
like,
to feed my
feeding
baby.
my kid, and you just draw. What are you drawing? Anyway, so Rose is engaged to Cal, and Cal's a real bag of poo. He's
a big cunt.
Yeah, he is.
He's a big old cunt, and so
But he's very rich.
He's very rich, and so she's at dinner with Cal and like other rich people one day,
And her mother is very adamant about Rose marrying Cal, having a bunch of money, and saving them from their woes.
Financial ruin.
Yeah, you don't find out about that until later, but essentially, Rose's family is broke. Their dad left. And the mother is still trying to upkeep this like presence of like we are rich and we're upper class and blah, blah. So she really needs her to marry this dude.
And at this
So,
lunch,
like,
you get the sense that Rose is a free thinker. She's not going to obey her husband.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
not
yeah.
going to. Even
Cal
though he's
tries to order for her and like tell her how to behave. Like Rose's mom tells her to stop smoking, and Cal takes the cigarette out of her mouth. It's very
But then when he orders for her, Kathy Bates go, "Were you gonna chew her steak for her too, Cal?"
yeah. You really remember this movie? Like I do not remember
because
this
there's
movie.
there's a lot of like memorable lines. We haven't even gotten into some of the big ones.
Okay, Karen knows all the big ones. I feel like urination coming on, so who knows how that's going to
We haven't even got, well, technically,
Let's get to how Leo and Kate
But
Winslet
the
meet.
King of the World one happens
Yes,
between
I
Jack
knew
and
that.
Okay,
Fabrizio.
so we
That's
have
their
to go to
moment.
King of the
Wait.
That's when the dolphins happen.
You're right. We have
It's
to go to
near
King of
the
World.
very
I
beginning.
did
What's
forget.
the
So
that's
it's contrary. This is what I thought before I saw the movie, because I only saw the movie like 2 years ago. I always thought the King of the World moment happened between
With the tea.
like, sorry,
With
they
the
make
tea.
a tea.
yeah, they make a tea.
This happens
I
twice.
was like, my
They
God,
don't drink.
The first time is just Leo and Fabrizio, and it's Leo going, "I'm the king of the world."
And he also makes a tea?
Yes. I think he just puts his arms out.
Leo
Yeah.
makes the tea, and then
Later gets Rose-
Jack makes the tea,
Yes.
and then Rose makes the tea later. But first,
They haven't met yet.
First, yeah, Leo and Fabrizio are on the boat, and then they go to like the very front of the boat, and then Leo and Fabrizio get up there sort of romantically. And then Leo leans over.
I'm so pissed. They stole that from Fabrizio.
That
was his moment with
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah, I ship Leo and Fabrizio more than I ship Jack and Rose, to be honest with you.
Oh, so they basically redid the same sort of thing, but with
Yeah, but it's more
'Cause
romantic later.
It's such a, because like I've heard things that was like an improvised moment with Leonardo DiCaprio, is that the King of the World moment was like he just did it, and like I'm like it just worked out really well. Then that did they replicate it? Did they sort of replicate it on purpose? Maybe
Maybe they
Like,
did
right?
that, and then they're like, "Oh, that'll work so well."
Yeah.
For the other scene.
So yeah,
that's where an editor comes in, and it's like, let's
Yeah,
just save
honestly.
it for later.
Yeah.
So honestly, yeah, the King of
Because
the
it
World
feels
moment.
like you're flying.
Well, you gotta get a little bit of relationship building with Fabrizio with the audience, because that has to pay off later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Jack and Fabrizio have the King of the World moment.
Okay.
Anyway, they see the fucking 98 dolphins, and then they go back to whatever it is.
All right, so Jack sees Rose.
Yeah, Jack sees Rose.
When he's drawing, he's in the middle of drawing he's on the deck, but like the lower deck, not the upper deck. And he's in the middle of drawing, and then he spots Rose coming out on the upper deck, and she's just sort of standing there and kind of looking, I don't know, confused.
In the middle
or
distance.
She's just lost in thought, and he's just staring at her. And she does a couple of double takes because she senses that he's looking at her, and she looks at him, and then she looks back, and then she looks again at him. And they just have this moment, but nothing is said, and he doesn't look away. So it's like, clearly, he's looking at me. But she's not like, she doesn't think of it as like a creepy, pervy thing. She's like, And then
You got all this from just the looks?
And then Cal comes out, and he's like, "Let's go back inside. What are you doing out here?" And she's like, you don't let me do anything," basically. And then we'll jump ahead till later that same day, where Rose is sitting at dinner in a very beautiful black red beaded dress, and she's just so miserable looking because everybody's deciding her future for her, and she's unhappy. Kind of a poor little rich girl sort of dilemma. And so she decides that she's going to fuck off to the stern of the boat. Is that right? Yeah, the stern is the back of the boat, right?
The poop deck.
I don't
No,
know.
what is the poop deck?
I don't know.
And I guess that's probably the bathroom.
No.
So she's running in her heels to the back of
It
the
was
boat.
that urgent.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, I gotta get
It's
this.
like
Is not
it's
the
kinda
life
like a
I
quick
wanted.
cut. She's like, suddenly she's just running and she's
Yeah.
crying and she's sweating and
She's not wearing a
in
coat.
distress.
It's cold
Yeah.
outside. She's running to the stern and she's like, this isn't what I want for me. She gets up and climbs over to the other side, and she's literally standing as if to commit suicide.
As if to.
Yeah.
She wants to kill herself.
Yes.
She's on the boat.
But she's literally on the other side of the railing and just holding on with two hands, ready to just like let go and be done with life. But
Yeah,
then,
like Eat the Rich, right?
but then
even better.
suddenly Jack comes out of nowhere because he's seen her run by. And what does he say? Does he say, don't do it? What does he say?
I don't remember what he says. Anyways, he sees that she's going to jump off the boat, and then he's like, whoa.
That's exactly what he says. Yeah, he goes,
Whoa.
whoa.
No?
That's good. That's good.
No.
Does he just
Okay.
say, don't jump? I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Thank you,
Really?
Sam. Sam is present for this, and she has informed us of what he says.
I don't think that's what he said.
Okay,
I'm pretty
we don't
sure he
have to
just
get
says,
too into
whoa.
it. He just says, whoa.
He says,
He goes,
whoa.
whoa there.
What does he say?
Okay, it's not a huge deal.
It's not.
Long
He
story
says something
short.
like, don't do it. And
It's okay.
she's like, stay back. Don't come any closer.
Yeah. It's
like,
really
whoa, whoa.
hilariously dramatic. And like in like the not the worst possible way, but definitely the funniest possible way. So she's gonna jump off the edge of the boat, but she's totally not gonna jump off the edge of the boat. And then
But she's
comes
thinking
over,
about it.
He says, "Whoa!" And then they talk about it for a little bit. Long story short, she's gonna jump. Jack says, "If you jump, I'm gonna have to come in there after you." And then
It's like
that really
He's prepared
happens.
to
That's real.
also
I'm not making
commit
that up.
suicide.
the
Yeah.
way it's been said.
He
it's just
pretty
like-
much says that. He's like, I'm going to have to jump in there after you, and I'm not looking forward to how cold that water is.
Yeah.
And then he
that's
goes through
good
this
for-
backstory of how he fell through ice fish
In
ice
Missouri,
fishing.
or
No,
where's
in-
he
Yeah,
from?
he's from Missouri.
in
Wait.
Wisconsin.
Oh,
No, he's
Wisconsin,
from
yeah.
Wisconsin, guys.
Missouri.
Jeez, come on. He's from Chippewa.
Chippewa
Yeah,
Falls.
get out of
Chippewa
here.
Falls,
Have
Wisconsin.
more of this. That'll help you pronounce it.
Anyways, he's like, I fell through thin ice, and he's like, water that cold hits you like 1,000 knives.
So you
stabbing
know what?
wall."
I will say that for the movie is that setup really helps you understand, because eventually, Alenka, I'm gonna ruin this movie for you.
Yep.
But eventually, the boat floods with water.
Oh, whoa.
And so
oh.
Yeah.
it's really
I understand the
fucking
impact
cold.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
And
really
it's
cold. The whole point
okay.
is to set up how cold the water is.
And there are
Mm.
thousands of people bobbing around in the water.
We'll get to that later.
like apples.
So they meet each other. Essentially, he's like, I'm gonna just come on, don't jump anymore. He talks her into not jumping. And then she's like, okay, I don't feel like jumping anymore. And then she fucking slips. And then
Because
is
her
now-
shoe catches the like end of her dress.
Yeah.
Oh.
And she slips and she falls, and he's got her by one arm.
Yep.
Her high fashion and money almost
Yeah.
kills her with her
Yeah.
fancy clothes.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor. It's a
That's
metaphor.
metaphor. And so then eventually he pulls her up after like 9 minutes. I
But
got
she-
you.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
got you.
and she's
I have you.
screaming.
I got you. And she is screaming. like
Drawing
someone is
attention to
currently
everyone.
stabbing her.
Oh.
And so he pulls her up. And then just as he pulls her up, here come like the ship police. I'm not sure what they are.
Well,
And
Probably.
And like they see Jack like on top of her
mm.
while she's like looking traumatized.
Her dress is
Neither
slightly
of them
ripped
are
and
wearing
riding
coats.
up.
Oh, this is what else is fantastic. This I don't even remember the fucking rest of the movie, but this stuck with me. While he's trying to talk her down and saying like, I'm gonna come in there after you, he's taking off like all of his clothes, like
Sure.
his layers, his jacket, his boots. He takes off his boots. This is a big thing. He takes off his boots. He's like, he's stripping down to the bare minimum. He'd be like, I'm going to come in there after you if you jump. So when she falls and he pulls her up, he's like wearing less clothes than he was. And she's like, not naked, but somewhat scantily clad because she was like, I just came from dinner. And then
her hair is falling down.
Her hair is messed up. And so he's on top of her now because he saved her. And then she's like, shaking on the ground because she almost fucking died. And then like he gets like, grabbed and like sort of arrested. Like they put handcuffs on
because it looks
him.
like a rapey boy situation.
It looks like a rapey boy situation. And then finally she kind of like gets her thoughts together and like she doesn't want to say that she was going to kill herself to like the police and also Cal fucking what's the actor's
the
name?
mother.
Not Billy Paxton.
Billy Zane.
That's Twister Man.
Billy Paxton. Billy Zane. Billy Paxton. Mummy Man, Twister Man.
Yeah.
Money man.
So she doesn't want to say that she's going to kill herself to these people. So she was like, oh, I was looking over the edge and I fell and then he saved me. And they're like, oh, okay, you're free
He's
to
a
go, young
hero
man.
then.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're free to go, young man. And then he's like getting his stuff together. And then so Cal, the bad boy, like her fiance, his man, so remember he had like this weird like bodyguard type dude. He's like, a little interesting that you had time to untie your boots and take them off if you saw a lady in distress. And the reason this bothered me is because I was like, okay, so the reason this looks fishy to you is because he had his shoes off and his boots untied. And I was like, if he was assaulting somebody, do you think the first thing he took off would have been his boots? So like, yeah.
I always thought like, and it was always confusing to me. I was like, is he somehow piecing together that she was going to commit suicide?
I don't think
like, is that what he's saying? Like, that's a kind of weird. And like,
no, I think he thinks that he was assaulting
I
her
never
and
saw
she
it that
covers
way.
and she covers for him.
Because it seemed like accusatory after watching it at 3 a.m, whatever the hell it was last night. And I was like, okay, so this screams sexual assault to you. It was like, yeah, your shoes were off, buddy. That's the trademark.
he might not be like, yeah, you were a sexual assault. He might be like, yeah,
Something
you
else.
two were
Something
doing
else.
things.
Yeah, something else.
Like
was
he
going
knows
on.
that she doesn't want to be
Anyway.
with Cal.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should probably push ahead because we've been spending a
So-
lot of time on this
Let's
initial
really fast
meeting.
forward through this
Okay, but
fucking movie.
I do need to say that so after they discover that he didn't assault her and he did save her from falling overboard, the officer's like, oh, or some other passengers like, oh, he's a hero then. Well done, son. And Rose basically tells Cal to give Jack something as like a reward for saving her life. And he's like, oh, I think a 20 will do it. And then she's like, is that the going rate? Is that the going rate for saving the woman you love? And then he's like, oh, Rose is displeased. And so then he invites Jack to dinner the following night
So-
because that's normal.
This is the big setup. I really hope that after this, we can just fast forward through the fucking movie because I feel like we've been talking about this for like an hour. And like,
Almost.
I'm kind of drunk, so I don't know how much you're following, but like stuff is just coming out of my mouth.
So we'll flash forward to the next day where Rose and Jack are just walking around the ship just casually.
Good friends. Good
Because
friends now.
they're
Wow.
learning about each other, and Rose is taking an interest in Jack because he's so inspiring. You know, he doesn't really have a home.
A job.
Yeah,
But she thinks he's
he
a very
has
talented artist.
aspirations, yes, and she
Oh, and
he
she
does,
likes art.
he
Okay.
does show her
Right.
his
We're listening.
drawings.
I'm listening.
And she's like, "Oh, your work is very good," which it is. It is very good work.
Yeah,
And
the picture.
she
of the
goes
woman
through his book,
breastfeeding.
and then she comes across some nudity, and she's like, "Oh, I guess you must have had a love affair with this one woman." And he's like, "I just loved her hands.
yeah, this is a weird moment because like,
I just wanted to make love to her hands."
no, that's not what he says. First of all,
might
yeah,
have.
Because he was like,
I
she was a
believe that.
one-legged
It's a
prostitute.
yeah, that's where it gets weird.
What?
Hands are a fetish.
So
Wait,
she's going.
is that factual?
That's real. That's in the movie.
She says that?
No, he says
that.
So she's going through his like book, and then she's like, "Oh, you draw this woman a lot," and he goes, "Yeah." She's like, "You must have had a love affair with her," and he goes, "No. I just really she had beautiful hands." And then like again, 'cause
But he
I'm
drew her
thinking,
boobies?
Too,
Yeah.
She drew her boobies. He drew her boobies too. And like, yeah, I remember thinking when I was watching it, like, oh, he's lying. He totally, or maybe he got like lots of hand jobs from this one man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But she was a one-legged prostitute.
Yeah, and he's like, no, she was a one-legged prostitute. Look, see? And then he flips to another page, but we don't get to see it as like the audience. But she goes, oh my, you're right. Like, blows my fucking mind. Anyway, so did he get a hand job? This is the main question.
Or like a 1 foot job.
This is, yeah. This
The
should just
main
kick him in the
point-
nuts a bunch.
The main point of this whole conversation is that
I don't know.
she says, Rose says to Jack, she says, you have a gift, Jack. You do. You see people. And he goes, I see you. And she's like,
Fuck.
and he says, you wouldn't have jumped. And then she's like,
And then she
I'm
does. And
instantly
then she
in love
jumps
with
and the
him.
movie ends.
Shut up. I was right away thought you were being serious.
You can't
Don't
say
stop.
that. Oh, you suck.
Oh my God.
I was thinking that you're gonna be like, oh, she jumps into like the bottom half of the ship. Like she jumps off the top part into the bottom.
How do you think ships work? Do you think there's a trap door that leads from floor to floor?
Haven't been on a ship.
Anyways, Rose is entranced by Jack, and so they continue along the boat, and she's like, I want to like learn how to do all the things that you've done because I've just been this fucking put together woman for so long. I have to follow all the rules. I just want to like learn how to ride a horse and just like chew tobacco like a man and
Yeah.
spit like a man. And then they spit off the boat. Jack teaches her how to spit. And
Yeah. And
while they're doing this,
yeah.
Rose's mother and Molly Brown and a couple of other ladies that are high class, they catch them doing this, but it's mid spit for Jack, and so he has like a hork in his throat, and then he has to swallow it. It's fucking gross. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, great. We get to learn about you tonight at dinner. Can't wait."
That's funny.
And Rose is like, "See you later at dinner," and just like fucks off. And then lovely Molly Brown, played by Kathy Bates, is like, "Son, do you know what you're doing?" And he's like, "No." And she's like, "What are you planning to wear to dinner?" And he's like, "What I've got on my body," which is basically just like suspenders and like a
shirt.
Yeah, he's not
Like, basically
he's
a piece of cloth.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
it's not even
well equipped
collared.
for this.
Wow.
And she's like, "That's what I thought. Come with me." And she happens to have a son of his size, and she gives him a whole like tuxedo. Oh, it's so wonderful. It
Yeah, he
fits him
cleans
like a
that good.
glove. Yeah, slicks his hair back, and then goes to dinner all like well put together. Sees how he's supposed to stand because he's like crossing his arms, and he's like, "Oh wait, I have to, hold my hand behind my back and like."
Yeah,
kiss-
he's looking at
kiss
the other
woman's-
high class passenger men, and he's like
Yeah.
copying how they're standing to be like, I'm fit in, I'm of money. Kind
He's
of.
a con man.
Yeah, catch me if you
Little
can.
Exactly.
What's
Leo.
that?
Another
Okay.
episode.
I didn't know that was a movie.
So he goes to dinner. Rose's mother tries to like make fun of him during the dinner, but he's pretty good about like replying like respectively.
Yeah, they're all
Cal
pretty
does it
they're all pretty
too.
charmed by him.
Yeah, because they're like, "Oh, he saved Rose."
Mhm.
And also like it's kind of like what's it? I forget what it's called, but it's the idea of like, oh, he's of a lower class. We find him charming and funny.
Well,
There's
because
a name for that?
because he's interesting, because he doesn't like fall into their category that it's like, "Oh, this person is so like interesting because they haven't lived like we have."
Mhm.
And so Rose is like, "Ooh, I like this." And it's time. So like dinner's finishing up. The men all go to the smoking room to like talk about how rich they all are.
They're like, it's not for women. We talk about politics.
Yep. And the women are like, "Oh, I will stay here and have tea and similar kind of things." And Rose is like, "I'm tired. I think I'll just go to my room." And Leo takes her hand and kisses it, but he leaves her a little message, and it says, "To making it count, meet me at the clock." So like, making it count. It happens. They cheers about it. It's a whole thing about like making the most of the time that you have, kind of thing. So
This is like the group's motto.
No,
This is
not
their-
at
They
all.
cheers
What?
to it.
They
No,
cheers it
Leo,
because
Leo talks about like how shitty his life. Well, not shitty his life is, but he talks about how he's like, oh, I just go from place to place. I make money where I can. And like, I meet new people. I have new experiences. Like, I make life count. Like, what? And then all the rich people are like, yeah, boy, do your best.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
they all fuck off. And then he's like, then he says goodbye to Rose, but like he doesn't say goodbye to Rose because he leaves that note. He's like,
Mhm.
to make this is one of the, like
Got you.
one of those like cheesy like lovey moments in the movie.
Mm.
There's even more when there's severe tragedy happening around them where like people are dying and I'm laughing. But like
Mhm.
he gives it that little note and says, to making a count, meet me at the clock. And I wanted to kill myself.
No.
No, I didn't want to kill myself. Rose
So
wanted
she
to kill herself.
tells her mom and she tells Cal that she's just going to her room to go to bed, but instead she goes and meets Jack at the clock, and then they go down to the third class and they have this like dance party.
Yeah, it's very like it's like Irish European. It's just
Yeah.
like they got fiddles playing and they're
Oh,
dancing.
we're
It's
all
a
doing
much
like
the
fun.
Highland
it's a less
fling.
stuffy party.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they're drinking beer and they're just loving life. And they have a great time. She stays out all night. She doesn't go to Cal that night, and she just returns to her room. And then the next day,
Mm.
Cal
They have
is like,
separate rooms.
But more important part, we see them like they're dancing together, they're having fun, they're having moments. They're not kissing or anything, but they're having moments.
Mhm.
And we see coming down the stairs,
oh,
the
Lovejoy,
guy, the man,
Lovejoy.
Cal's
Yes, Cal's
man.
man.
is
To
spying
the-
on
He's a
them.
spy. He's
Yeah.
a spy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's seen Rose partying it up with the third class and is like, oh, I have to tell Cal. And so he does. And the next morning you see Rose and Cal are having breakfast and he's like, you didn't come to me last night. And she's like, I was tired. And he's like, oh yeah, well, how was your time with the like lower class last night? And she's like, oh, I guess you had that manservant of yours follow me around. And then he's like, you're my wife. You're supposed to be like,
And he like literally flips his
he
table.
flips the
Yeah.
table.
Wow.
This is the
Literally.
really intense, like abusive potential, like that really portrays him as like a piece of shit
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
gets really
He's like,
mad.
you must obey me.
Yeah.
He slaps her there too, doesn't
Yeah.
he?
Oh.
No.
Flips, yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, does he slap her?
Yes,
after
he
the
does.
Table flip?
Yes, he does.
Oh my god, he
He,
slaps her a lot.
Oh, yeah, he slaps her. a
He is
couple
an
times.
abusive man.
Wow.
He flips the table.
It
Man
was
of
the
power.
12.
And then
I'm
she's
sure
like,
Billy
oh
Zane is a
my.
great guy though.
Flips the table,
The 12's the
freaks out
time
on her.
of torture.
and then he picks her up, like not like physically holds her up in the air,
It's like,
but like he like
holds
gets her
by-
standing, and then he smacks her across the face, and then he leaves
Wow.
like it's a regular Tuesday.
It probably was.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that happens.
That major thing happens.
Yeah. So that's really like the
Because we,
moment
you know,
where,
we
like,
were kind of on Cal's side.
He says like,
No.
you have to
Like, not
honor
really.
me.
like not really like he's like painted as like kind of like a shitty guy, like not the guy for Rose, like it's that kind of deal.
Sure.
But like in this moment, he's painted as like he's a piece of shit. and
Not
she
the guy
will
for
not be
anyone.
happy.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
So
She-
following
she-
this scene, she has a scene with her mother, and it's basically her just reiterating what Cal said, like, you need to like honor him and obey him, and you can't be off with this other fellow who has no money because that's gonna do nothing for us.
And that's what we learn. They're out of money. They're not actually like high class in terms of money
They're
because
basically
they're
bankrupt.
broke and they
Yeah.
need to marry into Cal's family so that they can be part of the high class.
Yeah. And so the next scene happens where well, they're in church and Jack tries to like go to see Rose. And then Lovejoy, Cal's man, comes out and is like, you're not welcome here, basically, and tries to like pay him off, but he's not happy with that. And then Rose and Cal and her mother and Mr. Andrews, the architect
Mm.
of Titanic. This is an important thing. No, this is an important thing because Rose makes a point of saying that she doesn't think there are enough lifeboats on deck for the amount of people that are
Yes.
on board, which
Right.
is exactly right. And he says about half. So about half of the people. And when it comes to boarding people on lifeboats, it's usually women and children first, and then men to follow suit however needed. Or like there's usually 2 men on the boat to like operate the boats.
But the interesting / like shitty thing about the whole lifeboat situation is that like she asks for like essentially an explanation because she's like, it doesn't seem like there's enough lifeboats on board for everyone. He's like, yeah. He's like, it's about half, whatever it is. Yep, there's enough lifeboats for half.
He's like, I designed it so that
it's an unsinkable ship.
He's like, I designed it so that everyone could, so that we could have more lifeboats, but they didn't.
It was too cluttered.
Cluttered. The upper crust people were like,
so
it was too crowded.
Realistically, they only have enough lifeboats for half the people on board.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an important that they're just trying to drop there.
And Mr. Ismay, played by the man who plays
who's also in The Mummy,
in Jumanji.
Yeah, and he's also in The Mummy.
Yeah. They got the mustache.
Yeah, he's the
main man.
Yeah,
he's the main man that is like, we need to speed up the ship so that we can get to America faster than planned. It'll be a huge surprise, just like making headlines. And
he's basically he's like the owner of the liner, right?
Yeah.
Like he's
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he has like stake in it.
Yeah.
If they like, he wants the Titanic to be like famous for being successful and being really fast.
Oh, it was famous.
Oh, it was famous, but not for what he wanted for.
Anyway, Jack tries to steal Rose away for a moment. He like pulls her into a room on the deck, and nobody really realizes that she's gone. And he's basically like, if you stay with these people, you're going to be so miserable. You're going to be so unhappy. This is not the life that you want.
You are going to jump if you stay with these people.
Yes, basically. Like, you're going to get trapped and you're going to hate your life. And so he basically tries to like convince her to be with him. And she's like, no, I love Cal and we're going to get married and things are going to be wonderful. All this kind of stuff. So Jack tries to convince Rose to like get away from them and just like start her own life with him, maybe in Wisconsin or whatever. And she's like, no, I can't, leave me alone. And so he just like fucks off and is like, oh, I tried to save her. She can't be saved. And he goes to the bow of the ship, and he's just sad. And then Rose is in the middle of dinner and she's like, fuck this, I don't want to be here at all. And she goes and she finds Jack at the bow, and this is where they experience the tea moment.
Nice.
They do the tea
again.
It's not a king of the world, but it's he tells her to close her eyes, step up on the bow of the ship. It's I sang this to Steven last night. I was like, why would he put her up on the rails of the ship that she almost killed herself off of? Like, that's such a traumatizing thing to then be like, yeah, it's safe up here. Don't worry, you won't fall. I'll catch you. Anyways, he does that and releases her hands. It's a beautiful moment.
This is what the score picks up.
Yes.
Yeah.
My heart
and
will
then
go on
Celine Dion just
but it's
kicks the door
pan
down.
flute, just a pan flute version. And then they kiss. They kiss for the first time. It's beautiful.
She just cheated. You can't sing that.
And then it goes back in or jumps forward in time, and then Rose is like,
to the
like,
old lady.
Old lady Rose is like, yes,
Old
it was
lady.
Beautiful.
Can I just say, okay, I have to interrupt everything right now to say that I fucking hate old lady Rose.
What?
Yeah,
She's probably dead now.
Yeah.
that
I
was a
hate
long-
her
that was like
performance
20
in
years
this.
ago.
I hate her performance in this because she's not Rose. Like, you know what I mean? She's not.
I don't
Kate
know what
Winslet.
you mean.
Okay, so.
Okay, 84 years have passed. She's had a life since Titanic.
She doesn't
Sure.
embody the same character is
It's
what
not-
Steven is saying.
You know what I mean? Like, she's not like, she plays very like, I'm a cute old lady and I try to remember things. Like, that's her
She did,
whole.
though. She remembered. these
Yeah, but like,
things.
what? She went through a horrible experience
Mhm.
based on what the entire movie is.
But she didn't want people to know that she went through it because she didn't. Because I don't want to share it yet. It's a spoiler.
Okay, whatever. But like, she's
She
like,
didn't wanna
she's
live
very
that
much
way.
okay. She's very much like, did you want to hear it, Mr. Minnie?
She wasn't playing tricks. She's just like, I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah, anyway.
True.
She's not
Probably the only time she's
so-
talked about it in
No,
episode
fuck
6.
me then.
Get
Her
it, get-
granddaughter had
Yeah.
no idea she had been on Titanic.
Yeah. Hey, fuck me.
Hey everyone, that was part 1 of our 2-part Titanic series, Room for Two. Stay tuned for part 2 next week. In the meantime, catch up on all our episodes anywhere you find your podcasts or our website, haven'tseenapodcast.com. You can follow us on social media. That's at Haven't Seen a Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and at haven't_seen_it on Twitter. See you next time.